The rest of the Premier League needs to watch out for Chelsea this season. After a Club World Cup win, beating PSG 3-0 in the final, the best team in the world, their confidence is at an all-time high, and their squad is about to get bolstered even more by the signing of Xavi Simons. This signing isn't one where Chelsea are just adding yet another talented player to their squad. It is one that is sending shockwaves, sending messages to the rest of the Premier League about how Chelsea are going to play this year and how dominant they're going to be. But first, let's talk about the signing itself. If you think Xavi Simons is just some social media baller that the media have been pushing down our throats since he was 12 years old, you are completely wrong, because it doesn't take a genius to realize that this guy is one of the most talented and technically gifted player in Europe right now. I mean, he was bred in La Masia, one of the most infamous footballing academies. He then made a move to PSG where he became a polished player, but he lacked the playing time he deserved. He then went to PSV where he would absolutely explode for them, doing it in Europe, doing it in the league, doing it in the big games. And then he got a move back to a top European league in the Bundesliga with the RB Leipzig, where he has slowly become one of the most underrated players in Europe, because he can do a lot of the things these other guys can do, such as Florian Wirtz. Yet, no one rates him to the level of Florian Wirtz, a £100 million player. Along with this, he performs every time at a high level for the Netherlands, as we've seen in the past Nations League and the Euros last year. This is an intelligent player. This is one of the most technical players in the world. You don't usually see a player like this moving to the Premier League at such a young age. And I believe with his experience that he already has at such a young age, with the hype that has been surrounding him since he was literally 12 years old, he can be one of Chelsea's most influential players in this next season and help them go to the Premier League, go to the Champions League, and compete for those competitions. And for Chelsea, making this signing changes everything. Not only because Xavi Simons is one of the most talented players in Europe, but because this signifies that Enzo Maresca is looking to play a fluent system, a versatile system, a system that changes game to game based on what team we are playing that week, and a system that can accommodate so many talented players into one unbelievable team. I mean, look at the attacking options that Chelsea will have this year. We have Xavi Simons, we have Cole Palmer, João Pedro, Liam Delap, Pedro Neto, Estevao still yet to come, Jamie Gittins, who we just signed, and many more to add on. And the most important thing, all of these players have different profiles that Maresca can use in different games to break down different teams, to win different matches, to score an abundance of goals. For example, on the left, Chelsea will have Xavi Simons, Jamie Gittins, and Pedro Neto all available. And these three are different profiles. Pedro Neto and Jamie Gittins are touchline wingers. One's right-footed, one's left-footed. They can create chances on the wing. They'll go down the wing, they'll try to beat their man and put a cross in, or score themselves. These are options that Maresca will use when playing teams with higher lines, when we can get in behind, play those balls over the top, and have such an advantage with those speedsters down the wing. But in a tighter game, where we'll need to control the midfield, or score against a low block, Xavi Simons is the obvious option. On the left, he has so much technical ability, so much creativity, where he can create a chance out of nothing. And going against low blocks was one of Chelsea's biggest weaknesses last season, and Xavi Simons off the left will improve that drastically for Chelsea. Now let's go into a couple of different lineups that I've created that Chelsea can use next season in different types of matches. This first lineup is what I want to see for most of the season, especially in the games where we'll need to have more control in the midfield and play against lower blocks. Starting off with Robert Sanchez in goal, I really hope we do get a better keeper, but for now this is all we have. The back line is very obvious. Cucurella, Colwill, Chalobah, Reece James, all solid, and I think most of them will start every single game when available for Chelsea. The midfield, Caicedo and Enzo, one of the best midfields in the world. And moving on to the attack, this is where it gets a little tricky. Of course, you need to start João Pedro and Cole Palmer by all means necessary. Now on the right is where it starts to get a little tricky, because Estevao and Pedro Neto will be competing for this position. At the beginning of the season, I do believe that Pedro Neto will get the nod at this position because he's had such a great Club World Cup, and Estevao is still young and needs to develop in the team. But as the season goes on, I do believe the potential of Estevao will show, and by the end of the season, he will be the starting right winger for Chelsea. And on the left, I have Xavi Simons, which allows us to be more creative and create more chances against those lower blocks, and he can even drop into the midfield with Cole Palmer and create an overload against the teams where they'll have a stronger midfield than us. Now obviously, Jamie Gittins, who we just signed, and Pedro Neto can both play this position, but like I said earlier, against the stronger teams with the stronger midfield and the deeper blocks, I think Xavi Simons is the obvious pick on the left. Now, of course, with the depth that Chelsea have at every single position now, it won't be that hard to replace someone if they get injured. Xavi Simons, like I said, can easily be replaced with Pedro Neto or Jamie Gittins. Cole Palmer can be replaced with Xavi Simons playing in the middle. João Pedro can be replaced with Liam Delap. Estevao can be replaced by Jamie Gittins or Pedro Neto, like I said. Caicedo and Enzo, they're a little irreplaceable, but we still have Romeo Lavia and Andre Santos off the bench bench to help. In the defense, we have Jurel Hato potentially coming in for Cucurella. We have Gusto for Reece James whenever we need him. And for center backs, we have Benoit Badiashile, Wesley Fofana coming back, and like I said, Jurel Hato can play this position as well. Now this next lineup that I have is a little more interesting. It eliminates Esteval on the right and replaces him with Pedro Neto, and the formation being switched to a 3-4-2-1, which we saw with Thomas Tuchel a lot when he was at Chelsea. I truly believe this is Chelsea's strongest team. You have Simons and Palmer at the 210s just creating chances. You have Cucurella and Pedro Neto, who is very astute defensively, as he did show in the Club World Cup. These two will absolutely be bombing forward to score goals and create chances. In the midfield of Caicedo and Enzo still stays, while the backline of Colwill, Chalobah, and Reece James is a little different, but it's still the same idea. And Robert Sanchez in goal, I do believe he needs to be replaced, but he's okay for now. Like I said earlier, this lineup absolutely excites me. I think this team can score an abundance of goals while still having a very strong defensive record, and while playing beautiful football. Now, I do think Maresca will stick to his usual 4 at the back formation, but I think he will try something like this in the future, because he is known to be a very flexible manager, and he will switch it up when he needs to, depending on the team that Chelsea are playing. And with this lineup, with all the depth that we have on the bench, I think Chelsea are a true contender for the Champions League, the Premier League, whatever competition they're in. I think this team can absolutely compete with the likes of Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool with all their new signings. I mean, it's a very exciting time for Chelsea fans right now. Anyways, that's all I have. Stay tuned for the next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.